Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This Vulcan Report edition is being recorded on April the 26th, 2017, Wednesday. Taking a look now at the gold futures market, as you can see, with all the ups and downs, the market is still holding on to bullish momentum and made a very nice recovery here at the end of the day. It should be noted that relatively the markets have been pretty quiet for the most part. Not a lot going on. Markets just, pulling back from the big upsurge we had a couple of weeks ago. And that's about it. So still maintaining a bullish overall complexion in the gold futures. And once again, as long as we close above the blue momentum trend line support, the market should continue its march higher and finally get a close above this 1300 mark. And once again, failure to do so would open the door to a free fall scenario, sort of like what's been happening in the gold miners. Taking a look here at the GLD, you will see a similar type of a setup. The only difference is here you have green on the screen, even though it's a very narrow type of a trading range so far. But as long as this one can close above the blue momentum trend line support as well, then you're good to go. Failure to do so could open the door, like I said, for a free fall scenario, falling well below the bottom side of this Kumo cloud, getting down below 110. Moving our shift now over to silver. Looking at the silver futures, we see the market still has lost its momentum. It is fighting right now, fighting the good fight. Failure to close above the blue momentum trend line resistance, which should be support, is going to be problematic and will put this one closer to free fall status than gold. All right. This one is pretty important. All right, closing below this will be 2 weeks in a row, and then we'll be in free fall status. Selling pressure momentum could pick up drastically, so we need to be careful of this one. So we're watching this one very closely. Looking at these miners, looking at the GDXJ, the carnage continues. We're breaking away from this blue momentum trend line resistance. Got to close above it to put it into this downtrend. A failure to do that opens the door for further downside. We are now already officially in free fall status, and there is really no bottom at this point. This market is in jeopardy of falling below $25 a share. We're watching and we're waiting. Once this capitulation is completed, then we see a return to a super bullish scenario. I still hold fast to my long-term projections in the gold miners and the metals in particular. Right now, one should be looking to get long the paper. JDST, all things being equal, if this is going to be the scenario, this should begin to change in its complexion. Over time, the daily chart, the weekly chart, we'll start looking at the daily chart. As you can see, it's lifting up. Closing above this blue momentum trend line support will open the door to a nice close outside of the Kumo cloud and a march toward $30 a share. So that's where we are in the JDST. Similar scenario for dust. Right now, this one's still not outside of the Kumo cloud, still below the Kumo cloud. Heavy resistance right now. It is really struggling to get up and above that. It's going to need to do it. But as long as it can close above the trend line, this blue trend line momentum support, we're good to go. Closing below that opens the door to gold taking off like a rocket before capitulation, which I just don't see that happening. So I think that as long as the gold can close and keep that momentum it should help GDX and GDXJ to do the same. We'll see. Sometimes the miners can break away from the metal themselves. So we'll see what happens on that one. All right, another thing that we're watching closely here is the natural gas. Natural gas had a substantial pullback, as you can see, but that $3 trend line support held. Now we're blasting off like a rocket again. Just like I showed you in the last video. Market setting up for a run to 350. You got nice ramps coming up. This first one is a doozy. This could put us above the 50 line in and of itself. This ramp here alone. So possibility of getting above that 50, consolidating a little bit, then getting to the next ramp, and then going to $4. So that's what I see happening here in the natural gas. Therefore, taking a look at the UGAS, UGAS should continue to benefit in this scenario, and we should be able to get back here. All things being equal, depending on how this thing plays out, I see us getting back above the trend line resistance up here above 60 bucks, and then off to the races, and then you'll really start to see the trend really develop at that point. If you look at the daily chart, you'll see what I'm talking about a little bit. You can see how it's regained momentum, putting into the selling. All right, so the selling is over now. Now we're making a run toward the initial 2124 resistance, and that's in the natural gas. Taking a look now at crude oil. If you look at the crude oil chart, you'll see that still cannot regain that momentum. Not at all. Every rally toward the momentum trend line resistance is sold, and that's what you saw here. So a rally up to this blue momentum line and then selling. And this is a daily chart. This is a daily chart, not a weekly chart. All right, so no excuses on that one. I don't see this ending anytime soon. It's just like I was showing you in the last video. You're just playing the ranges right now. You get up toward the resistance, it sells off. You get down to the support, you rally. That's all it's doing right now. It's playing games with people. Looking at now, let's see. Let's look at the NASDAQ 100. New all-time highs, as you can see here, well above the momentum trend line. Support, nothing bearish to talk about on this chart. Every time you see a pullback, it's an opportunity to buy and get long again. I've been showing that, and this scenario is continuing to play out. So you keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore, until the trend changes. I see no end in sight so far. Taking a look at the Dow. All right. With the Dow, we hit that 21,162, and now it's trying to come back and march back up there again. All right, so here we are. It's about to break through and go to 22. We will break through and go to 22. That's what this is suggesting in the Dow. Let's see. Looking at... hold on. Looking at the dollar is marching on as well. All right, came off, rallied, but couldn't take out the old high, sold off. Rallied, not as high as the old high, came off. So this one is, it's now, this is critical. You lost your momentum, and now you're threatening to drop below the trend line here and get down into the 90s here, the low 90s. It could fall right through this trend line, but I don't think they're going to let that happen. I mean, I think that the banks are going to allow this to come down and use these ramps to prop this thing back up and catapult it back above 102. So you got a nice steep ramp here, followed by another steep ramp, and then another little curvature right here. So yeah, I don't see them letting this thing die anytime soon. I think this is just the beginning of using the correction to get back off to the races. If you look at bonds, bonds look just like the Dow chart. Hold on, that is the Dow chart. Let's pull this up. All right. Here we go. Okay. So, here is the bonds. You see it came off incredible. Rallied. Now it's in jeopardy of falling back down again. We'll see. Still has that bullish momentum just slightly. If it can close above this trend line momentum support, then I think this could make a run back up to the 156 level, which is the trend line resistance here, this orange line here. And if it can best that, then the bottom of the Kumo cloud is your next target. So this still could have a lot of bullish life left into it. I'm not saying we're going to get back up to the 177s. I'm just saying this is where the battle lines are being drawn right now. The market's trying to battle up in here. All right, so if this fails, then you know we're going to check out these supports. The next leg down will be severe. It'll look like something like this up in here. This next leg equals this. And that puts you into like the 130s. Maybe even as deadly as the 120s. All right, so that's the way I see it as far as these markets are concerned in the short term. I know there's a lot of news, there's earnings, there's wars and rumors of wars, people date setting again, talking about crashes and collapses in World War III. The markets don't care about that. They just care about price. Price equals action. Price action equals money in your pocket. PulseWaveTrading.com. Come on over and learn how to trade these markets and learn how to navigate these waters and learn what the banking systems don't want you to know. All right? PulseWaveTrading.com. Remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing out. Nothing back. Peace.